semester, my service learning project is connected to Intro to Business, which is Business 101, and we're working with a community partner called Follow My Steps, which is a not-for-profit organization based in Springfield that provides mentoring services to at-risk youth in the Pioneer Valley and beyond. And so what Follow My Steps has asked us to help them with is to revise their business plan, which I have a little backdrop of the Google Doc behind us, revise their business plan in a couple of ways. The first thing that they needed was updated data. Like any nonprofit organization, like any organization, they need to prove that what they do works. And so they last did their business plan in 2016, and most of the data from the United States Department of Education or the Massachusetts Department of Education, all of their various data sources were dated in 2016. Well, we've had a pandemic since, and there's been a lot of changes in the world. And so the first project that our students did was update all of the data in the business plan to reflect 2021 and 2022 numbers. So that was a really concrete project for them. They liked that. The other thing that Follow My Steps was hoping that we could help them with would be to research academic and scholarly journals or studies to create data to support the idea that at-risk students who receive mentorship services from an organization like Follow My Steps do better in life, that they go on to college, that they do better academically, scholastically, personally, professionally. That's a much tougher project to tackle. When the going got tough, we hit the library. We called Carl Todd, and he created a tutorial for us at the HCC library. The whole class went over, we broke into groups, and each group was designated to work on one specific area of the business plan. And they did that thing that students who are just in a sea of research did, where they felt struggle, they felt a little overwhelmed, they felt a little out of control, they felt like what they were doing wasn't right, it wasn't on point, it didn't matter, they didn't know when to stop researching. You know, researching is a really tough skill for students to learn, which is why I love the project to begin with. So with Carl's help over in the library, each group was able to pull some data that related to their section of the business plan. And then they just submitted that data to me in the form of the Google Doc. It was nothing short of amazing what these students were able to pull up in the HCC library with Carl's help. But every group had that one diamond in the rough scholastic or academic article that was really, really helpful to advance the idea that mentorship actually does matter, that it advances students who participate in mentorship programs in the different areas of their life. And I told them I wasn't going to tell them which student in each group found the seminal article, because it was a group effort, and there's value in the sort of swimming in a sea of articles, but I think that the work that they did and the data that we were able to supply to Follow My Steps is going to be very helpful as Follow My Steps moves forward with a new business plan, always looking for funding and for donors, and hopefully the HCC Intro to Business class was able to help them in that area. And the students themselves are going to present to Kashan their findings.
According to the New England Board of Higher Education, population projections suggest that low and moderate income students will make up a growing share of college students in the future.
Starting in section 4, we updated the statistics and provided multiple sources to support our statements. We went to the next section and identified a 2019 Mass Department of Education study regarding the disparity in education achievement based on race, and provided context on the article. The majority of degrees awarded at an institution in Massachusetts were to white students 6.41 times more.
In the next section, we added a new study that provided an alarming downward trend in the percentage of high school students going to college. And before we hand off to the next group, on behalf of Group 2, we would like to thank you for allowing us to edit and learn about this business plan. It has opened our eyes and inspired us. Overall, we have learned many new ideas and perspectives through gathering information and working together, and hope to keep creating foundations like this in the future. Thank you.
I would like to start off by saying that we admire your work, and through our research we realized that what you're doing, it's hard, because the funding, especially for a nonprofit, doesn't just, you can't, unless you have it, it's got to come from somewhere. And through our research, we realized that there are, even despite the pandemic and what we're going through now, still very, kind people, charitable funders who are able to back something as to what you're doing. So thank you. I can personally speak, having had some cousins. They went to Springfield Public Schools, they went to Sabas, and then went to Commerce, and now they're both in their senior year of college at UMass and AIC respectively, and hope to see many as your mentees go through the same process. So on behalf of our group, thank you.
And some strategies we use to compare your business plan to another one was looking over the McDonald's business plan and the Make-A-Wish business plan. I think this could just be beefed up a little bit just to make it a little bit more interesting to somebody if they were to open up the business plan, and it's just like, this is almost like the first thing that you would look at.
If you just like change the colors of like the sections versus the subsections and stuff.
We made this video because of the timing. Our class meets at 9:30 and your mentees are, they don't see you until the after school hours. And so we would have loved to meet them. So we made a little video instead, and we're hoping that you will play this video for them so that they can meet our students and understand, what was going on our end.
Yes, definitely. Please send me that link. That's great. If you were to ask me 3 years ago would I have started a nonprofit, I would have told you no way. It's not my thing. Once I went to UMass Dartmouth, I met the vice president. His name is Tyrone, and we had a bunch of similar experiences and relatively similar upbringings. Once we graduated and started working, we got together in April 2020 and just sat in his living room and just started talking about things that were near and dear to us. And we just asked each other kind of what could we do to combat some of that social tension, because that was around the time of the George Floyd incident. And so for us, we wanted to see if we could be a part of the solution. So we just banded together, kind of tapped on the shoulders of friends, family members, and just had deeper conversations. And that's kind of how everything started. We wanted to make sure that our program centered around customizing that mentor-mentee relationship. So what we do is actually put the youth, and our youth in our program are anywhere from grades 8th through 12th grade. We put that youth in front of somebody that's doing what they want to do. Because nowadays, it's harder to reach kids, right? They're more disengaged. Everyone's looking at the screen. So for us, it's making sure that if there's something that they're interested in, we find somebody that's doing it, because that person's going to be like their future selves. They get to look in the mirror and say, wow, this is what my life would look like if I was an engineer, if I was an electrician, if I was a nurse, if I was a business owner or whatever. So putting them in front of that, somebody gives them that realistic look, but at the same time, it builds up that path. So that's why we call it Follow My Steps, because our mentees are explorers, our mentors are our pioneers, and they're the ones setting that path. There's a huge issue, just in the U.S. alone, as you guys have pulled all these stats, when it comes to individuals in lower income areas. And it's frustrating to a huge extent to think that just because an individual is born in a certain area and they have less resources, that they're automatically behind the 8 ball, right? But everyone tells these kids just to work a little harder, but that shouldn't be the case. So if you keep your head down, like I did growing up, you're gonna end up circling back later in life when you could have just, already had that opportunity exposed to you. So never be too proud to ask for help, and always map things out. Just imagine yourself in high school. What did you need? And if there's a void in which we don't fill, please talk to us about it, and you can probably leave it.
Everything that we learned throughout the course this semester just finally came together and felt good. I think everyone did a great job, and Kashan, he seemed pretty happy with what we put together.
I had a really good team, and we all our professor was super helpful, librarian was super helpful, everyone involved was just really helpful, and they understood that it was overwhelming, and so kind of walked us through it. And then kind of when they realized we were we were set. They just let us do our thing, and then we just helped each other out. It was a great teamwork experience.
I knew nothing of business. I, could barely tell you the difference between profit, nonprofit, things like that. And to actually deep dive into a real life, not-for-profit business and take the concept that we learned through the course and apply it, it was really great. And everyone worked really hard on it, and we were actually able to, achieve what we came out to achieve, and to help Kashawn Sanders and Follow My Steps to improve the business.
I really enjoyed finding the research, or finding the information and doing my research. It was all pretty hands-on, and it was a cool experience. I've never done anything like it. The fact that we were doing it for a nonprofit was a huge motivation, for me.
It's doing something bigger than yourself. Not only filling out a requirement, especially someone who's taking business courses, but to just give back, and to hopefully have the mentees from Follow My Steps to be in the situation where I am today. Taking courses and achieving further education.
From a teacher's standpoint, it's great to help in such a worthy nonprofit organization in the community, but I have to say, from just the perspective of me accomplishing my own learning objectives, for the students to be able to work with an actual business plan. Business plans are covered in the Entrepreneurship Chapter 5 chapter, but it's always a hypothetical business plan. For them to be able to really roll up their sleeves and work with an actual business plan, I think gave them an immeasurable advantage over students in another Business 101 class. And the other chapter that's highly relevant is our marketing chapter. We agreed as a class last week that we built something here. That's what a business is at its core. Building something. We built the thing. They did the research, the hard part. And now we get to do the fun part, which is to sell it. So first we built it, and now we're going to sell it. And the way that we're going to sell it is we're going to present a little iMovie to Kashawn Sanders on Thursday that describes our process. So I think that the students at the end of the day, even though research is not particularly sexy, they really did enjoy the process. I did want to just mention my favorite moment of the semester. I've been mulling over whether this class had chemistry and magic with each other just on their own, or whether it was the service learning project that gave them the magic, but this was a magic class for sure. So we took a picture of everybody on the floor, and they got together, and the theme being we left it all on the floor, and the smiles on their faces when we were able to take that last shot of our process and our project told me that they will probably be friends for life, and I don't think they're going to forget the project anytime soon. So just the best experience.